Right, so now what I'd like to show you is how to specify, so under conditional formatting with a new rule, there's this option to use a formula to determine which cells to apply the format to. So you can enter the formula here. It's very similar to entering a formula into the formula bar of any given cell, but with the conditional formatting instead. And this can be really, really useful. So let's say that we go back to the same budget, and let's say that something terrible's happened. A tree fell on your roof and it's going to cost 1,000 to fix. So first of all, you can see we've got a problem now, because this data validated list won't accept anything unless it's one of these categories, which are your 4 categories here. But that does not apply to blanks. You'll find that blanks are a special category of their own in Excel and can cause a lot of problems. But here, you don't want to put it in a category. You just want to say, okay, there are going to be certain entries that just don't fit into my regular categories. How do I account for them? Because that 1,000 isn't being added to the total over here, which is a problem. So I'll first just show you quickly how to fix that. If we insert a new row here, now we want another category that just covers everything else. So other. If I tab out of that, you can see Excel has tried to be clever and figure out what formulas I'm going to need in these boxes here, but they are not working. So over here, let's have a look at why it's not working. The best way to start troubleshooting a formula is to click on the cell, then click in the formula bar where you'll see which ranges it's looking at. Now this is a sum if that it's doing over here, but you can see that it's looking for the word other inside the category. Now the actual word other doesn't feature. Instead, all you're ever going to get, if it's not one of these categories, because of the data validation, it's not going to allow you to put anything in there. So I can't just type some random value, but you will get blanks. So instead of looking for the word other, which is in A11, let's replace that with just 2 quotation marks, which indicates a blank or empty cell. So now it's looking in the range under category and it's saying, okay, anything that is just blank, I'm now going to add out of the cost column. And you'll see there, it's going to add the 1,000. We're still not fully there yet, because obviously in the totals, it's not added that 1,000. And that's easy enough to fix. It's because what you're summing together hasn't taken into account the new row that you've just added. So a quick trick on how to do that without needing to jump into the formula specifically is you can just click on this blue box, drag it down, it will update the formula for you, hit enter, and there you go. You've now got your updated amount of total costs. Now don't forget, we also want to update this cell as well, because it's going to have a similar problem. It's currently looking for A11, which is just the word other. And that's not going to work. This is looking for whether it's a regular cost. Now, it so happens that obviously a tree falling on your roof is not a regular cost. But if it was and it became regular, you can see that when we update it to yes, it's not finding it. And that again is because it's looking for literally the word other. So just replace A11 there with 2 speech marks. And there you go. Now it is taking it into account as it should be. But of course this is not a regular cost, so I'll change it back to no, but at least you've tested that that is certainly working. And again, the sum here is not taking into account your new row. So this is standard stuff you'll get used to as you update spreadsheets, just to check everything, including this necessities thing. It is counting it as a necessity, because remember, we are looking at whether it is not luxuries and it is not gifts. So currently that could be a bit problematic because everything under other is going to come up as a necessity. So this is something you'd have to fix if there were other costs which were necessities, but we won't worry about that right now. Currently we've got this updated as we want. Imagine, I mean, obviously though, that we've got a problem that now I want to know my current balance. So let's fill this out. This is easy enough. Simply equals what you had at the start, balance at the start, minus obviously your total expenditure so far. And you can see we go into the red, and whoops, I've made a mistake because I forgot to remove the conditional formatting. So currently you're showing as in your overdraft. So let's say, well, I want a quick way to see either whether I am in my overdraft or if I am above my overdraft. And that's where using a format, a formula can be really, really useful. So you can probably use one of these other ones, but I'm going to show you just how to use an actual formula to specify this. You go into the formula bar, as usual, you press equals. Then you want to select the range that this formatting is going to apply to, which currently is B4, which, as you can see, when you click on it, it automatically freezes it in place. It says this only applies to B4. And then you want to say, okay, if it is less than 0, now that's how I know that I'm actually going into my overdraft. And then you format it accordingly. So you just click on the format. Now that you can change the border, the font, or the formatting of the actual text. But I'm just going to change the background color to make it red and click on OK. And there you go. It's updated that for you. Now you can also add a new rule to do a very similar thing. And in here, simply say if, in fact, what's in the cell is above 0, then change the background color to something much nicer, like a green. There you go. And so let's then say that this actually only costs 600 or something like that. Now you're no longer showing as being overdrawn. So that is how to use a formula to update a format in conditional formatting. And yeah, in the next one, I'll show you a little bit how that applies to ranges. That's not just a single cell, because that can be a little bit tricky. But again, easy enough once you get your head around it.